A friend was talking about it earlier today, and I was calling it interdimensional smuggling, you know? So first of all, you have to have contact with this field if you're, a visionary artist, or by God, you found yourself there. And so then, for me, it has like a philosophical kind of edge, it has well, this changes everything. Everything's sacred. Oh my God. Everything's a part of God. So it first comes with a view, like a worldview or something, and then the artwork becomes like a lens. Like maybe you could be like a straw through which spirit could be drawn to earth. Like heaven could come to earth if you were able to pull even a fractal, a little shard. I compare visionary art to like having a smoking ember of a burning building, and that's all that was left, but there it is.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Creativity and Consciousness podcast. I'm really excited to share this episode. This is a very special panel discussion that I moderated live on stage at the Texas Eclipse Festival inside the Chroma Dome, the multiversal dome that Android Jones and some friends of mine and myself helped organize. And this was a panel talk with the absolute legends of visionary art, the heroes of visionary art that are alive today, some of my greatest inspirations. And so I'm really excited to present you this conversation with Allyson Grey, Allyson Grey, Android Jones, Amanda Sage, Chris Dyer, Blake Foster, and Jen Ingram from Tribe 13 Art Gallery. This was recorded on somebody's phone camera, and so the audio quality is not the best, although I did the best that I could to doctor it up and make it sound a bit better for all of us to listen to. And at the end of this panel talk, I have something very exciting to announce, and so I hope that you stick around and listen all the way through to the end of this episode, where you'll get a special chance to participate in something that can be life-changing, and I'm really excited to share that with all of you. This was an hour conversation, and this is only the first 30 minutes of it, but this is what I have access to. And in any case, I really hope that you enjoy and that you find inspiration in this talk. Welcome to the Creativity and Consciousness podcast, a space to explore the intersection of creativity, spirituality, and personal transformation. I'm your host, Jake Kobrin, visionary artist, author, and your humble guide in the exploration of our consciousness. In each episode, we dive into ideas related to magic, visionary art, and alternative spirituality. I bring you conversations with leading thinkers and innovators to help us tap into our creative potential, expand our minds, and transform our lives. Whether you're an artist seeking inspiration, a spiritual seeker exploring new paths, or someone on a journey of self-discovery, this podcast is here to help unlock new possibilities and awaken our inner power. Let's journey beyond the ordinary. Welcome to the Creativity and Consciousness podcast.
Yeah, it's great to be here. So I wanted to try to bring this conversation to think about what would give the most value to those that are listening here. And I imagine that many of you are aspiring artists or have some kind of creative practice of your own. And so I thought I would just open the floor as a first question to just ask each artist, like, how the fuck do you do what you do? Like people look at your artwork and they just have no idea how something so beautiful could come into being. So can you explain in any way that what the creative act is for you? What is your creative process? How do your artworks come into being? And what does that mean for you?
Well, I do know, I don't know. I do know where my art comes from. It's basically, it's a meditation. And it's a thing that I devised, the way I devised to focus for hours a day, enraptured and enthralled in whatever it is I'm doing in a very minute task that keeps me in the here and now. It all comes from, be here now. And a meditation is about, being here now with everything going on around you, even talking and podcasts and news and quiet and music. All of that's going on, and you're focused. I mean, I focus on one little thing, and I think a lot of us are. People, but there's every way to make your art. So, this is just the way my mind works. My work is, I work every day. I paint for hours every day, and I love it. I just, I need it, After all these years of doing that, and I mostly always paint at night, but I have 2 bodies of work. That's the one thing I was going to say, and I won't take up too much more time. But 2 bodies of work very definitely, and one is painting, which consists of oil painting, watercolors, acrylic on stage, and that's it, painting. And then there's social sculpture. And social sculpture is sculpture that is intended as social change, or it's an artwork, let's say. It sometimes is a festival, that intends social change. It's a social, a lot of cooperation, a lot of collaboration, which is one of the recurring motifs of visionary art is collaboration and non-competition and it's your support and that sort of thing. That's a recurring motif in visionary art, And so I paint every day. I meditate when I'm painting. I have insights about in my head and in my life, and I make it a spiritual practice. So that's what motivates me to sit there and paint minute and and I love it. It makes my mouth water right now to think of painting because that's how much I love it.
Oh, well, I think that a lot of us know that, there's very special times when we're journeying and something is so striking and memorable, that we want to share it somehow. And so I feel like, when you're experiencing a psychedelic visionary state, you're lucky if you can pull down or back something. A friend was talking about it earlier the day, and I was calling it interdimensional smuggling, So first of all, you have to have contact with this field if you're, a visionary artist, or by God, you found yourself there. And so then, for me, it has like a philosophical kind of edge, it has this changes everything. Everything's sacred. Oh my God. Everything's a part of God. So it first comes with a view, like a worldview or something, and then the artwork becomes like a lens. Like maybe you're like you could be like a straw through which spirit could be drawn to earth. Like heaven could come to earth if you were able to, like pull even a fractal, a little shard. I compare like visionary art to like having a smoking ember of a burning building, and that's all that was left, but there it is, And you remember the filming? And so I think then you draw it, you write about it, you draw it, and you draw it repeatedly, and you see symbolically there's messages that are being sent through this kind of art. And I'd say that not always do we artists understand the message that we're transmitting, but nevertheless it becomes an opening for other people to access this dimension. I think we're working with the alliance of angelic forces or beings, a kind of a sacred bond with beings that are trying to help us, and they think, hey, these guys are just crazy enough and open enough and receptive enough, that we can throw visions at them, that might be helpful to people, and they'd be willing to spend the months or years or whatever to figure out how to make it visible. I mean, we're just like pack mules for soup, that I think, trying to. Anyway, I should shut up.
I love that. I say yes to all of what I just heard. This access is. I start with an intention, and that intention in many ways is very loose. And I have done a lot of work previous in training the eye and the hand to kind of, and the brush, like the soft touch, or to mix this color with that color, and that's gonna happen. I've done a lot. It's those 10,000 hours of trial and error, and then you empty yourself in front of a white canvas or whatever it was, and then I set up intention, and then I start. And often, I'll collect before the painting. There's all kinds of little ideas and codes as things, repetitions. I start to get sensitive to that, and then so it's like little seeds, and I kind of hold them around me, and I let them get close, but not too close, and then when a time comes, it's like there's one color and there's one spot on the canvas that you start, and it really, in the big long run, it matters and it doesn't, and then it just keeps going, and allow yourself to be guided. So one of the biggest tools or gifts that I was given that I think about so often was from one of my great teachers, Ernst Boots. He said, you have to learn how to listen to the painting. And so that's something that I feel I aim to do. And it's not always easy, right? So it's like having a relationship. Not always easy. Sometimes you gotta take it, turn it upside down, put it away for a while, come back to it. But it's a relationship, it's a story. Like, what do you want from me? What can we do here together? Yeah, so.
Oh.
It's a great question. I think you could ask that to every artist. You would ask it to you. If you really dug down, you would get a totally different answer. We think sometimes there's like a standard way we do this, but like we're all pretty individual in it. I think in my process, there are moments I could make it set an intention, but a lot of the times I feel like my default is maybe a little bit more of like a chaos magic, and sometimes it's hard for the idea of deciding what that intention is to be kind of an intimidating decision to think. And a lot of times I just really try to, I think the initial decisions I make they're much more guided in feelings than in visions. I don't have a visual imagination. I've got like aphantasia, so I don't know what that's like to get like a flash or a revelation from an angel to see something, but I try to be very in touch with how I'm feeling. And I feel like the arc is always so different, but it's sometimes it's different every time, but if I could try to kind of drill down to at least what are some predictable stages of it. I think at the beginning there's a lot about, some of it's just sort of like I'm just like trying to get into that zone. And when I'm starting off, it feels like sometimes it feels like there's almost, if I'm aware of it, it's like there's two personalities, almost three, but there's one that's like the thing that I'm feeling, and I could translate this feeling into a movement. And this feeling comes to, whether it's your heart or the mind, but then it's always filtered through the lenses of the body, and the body makes the stroke. And that stroke is even separate. And then there's the other personality is the mind. It's just analyzing. I was feeling a thing, and then the body made this change in my environment, and now how does that stroke make me feel now? And then it makes they feel in a way that I make another shape or a stroke, and then that there's a judgment there or an idea. Well, that makes me feel like this, and so there's two. Sometimes they're dancing, sometimes they're arguing, sometimes they eat. Sometimes it's just an abusive relationship, but it's this relationship that happens. And the goal, it starts as these almost two personalities going back and forth, and it kind of gets, and the good example is it gets to a place where this feedback loop, the duration of the feedback loop gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and then it's like you don't know when it happened. It's not like a moment or a click that's all of a sudden you realize like they're working together, like your emotions and the movements are in unison, and this thing is happening, and it's almost like you don't want to observe that it's happening, because sometimes as soon as you realize it's happening, it might stop. Or sometimes if you look down, you're like, whose hands are those? It is like waking up from a lucid dream, and you're like right in your bed. And so it's this kind of an art of trying to create that container. And for me, I find that it comes to like angels or these higher dimensional spirits, in my experience, it's like there's a lot of lower dimensional spirits that are just ready to help you out whenever they want. Like they are, gonna breeze that lap. And then they're behind my shoulder right now waiting for me to go in. But it's the higher ones that are harder to court. And I feel like if I could get into this momentum with everything, my muscle memories, everything I've trained, my body, my whole studio is just a runway for this to happen. For me, it's almost like flying a kite and like hoping that like that kite is gonna get struck by electricity. It's just trying to do worthy. Like notice me, senpai, notice me. It's like I'm here. And I'm ready, and it doesn't happen all the time, but the time that it has happened makes it worth all the striving towards those moments.
So I'm not like I'm less all about visionary and more of a feeler. So when I do a painting, it's not like image comes into my head. It's like, oh, saw an image and I gotta picture it now, make a painting of it. It's more like I'm having a feeling and I'm trying to find a tool of communication to transmit it to the viewer, or really to myself. I'm the main viewer. I'm like a ball of energy in general, and if I don't get my energy out in one way or another, my circuitry is gonna like burn out. My nervous system's not gonna be able to handle it. So I need to communicate, and that's good and bad for different situations, being a hyper expressor. And art is one of the ways we communicate. Images is the funnest one. It's chill. You do a magic trick, and people see it as like, whoa, that never existed before. It's like, wow, cool. You're like a reflection of God that created a whole world from nothing, and you're creating images that never before existed. So it's like so fun. So I guess like I gotta tap into which part of the fractal that is me, which branch of the tree of Chris will be the one that gets to turn to do each painting. So some paintings are very personal, maybe angry and sad and dark, but those parts of the Chris also deserve to be heard. Others are more lovely and fun and joking around and comical. Others are more trippy and weird and strange. Others are more aggressive. And some need to be done in watercolors. Some need to be done in spray paint. Some need to be done in oil or whatever. Mix them all together. Collage, plasticine, burn crayons, whatever. Or your voice, communicating, talking, having a conversation. All these arts, when you're bringing something that didn't exist before, and the thing we're doing here is a beautiful invisible painting. So yeah, I'm just trying to connect to the higher sides of Chris without dissing the lower sides of Chris. My past lives, my higher versions of me that are other dimensions that are looking down on me and trying to coach me through this life. God, whatever that means. And hopefully do art that can connect to other human beings so we don't feel alone in our process of growing into a better version of humanity. It's always about the personal individual growth, but also the growth of humanity. And I feel artists have this chance to create this like web of oneness and togetherness and community, improve this communication that I think is super beautiful. And that's why I resonate a lot with visionary art. As much as each one of us are totally different aliens, and sometimes they're like, well, that aliens are by a different planet and I don't get it, but I appreciate their medicine, and their medicine affects all this tribe of people, Ines, and together with you, Ed. I don't know, it's a beautiful band. So I love art.
You're lucky.
And for me, I have like three things part of the formula of creation. Perhaps starts with being open to observation. Just kind of always being open to learning and regrowing, and observation is just with the eyes, but also the feeling, and everything from nature to just staying open to everything around all our senses, and it kind of makes sense as that, like journaling. I like just getting in the details of how this exists, which is so fascinating. The other key part for ES is the inspiration, which it comes down to like experiences. Everything from medicines to dancing and movement, connecting with people, conversations. Everyone moving together. Like these type of experiences keep you charged up and keep you fueling the fire of creation. And I journal about it, I sketch about it, and all those are like said, like seeds. And some of those seeds sit in my mind or my heart and gestate for a while. I've had a recent idea. My father died for like a year, and it grew so much inside me. It just had to come out. It was like no more, and we're waiting for it. And so yeah, that's kind of like my formula for inspiration. It's just experience, and part of that is self-care, like taking care of yourself, like food and sleep. And we love certain medicines, but you have to find a balance. And these are tools; they're safer things, and we should kind of find a line of staying healthy and not abusing these things because they're so special. It can really get easy to chase the dragon, And so self-care and experience, that's a big part of inspiration for me. And then after all that happens, then the flow state is a really important thing. And to cultivate that for me, like music is huge. I think every day, but I have music on like all the time. And sometimes I want to dance, have my body isn't feeling that, but either way, I'm feeling that vibration of the sounds, and taking in all observation, and just trying to combine it all together and create stuff that I want to see exist, and I hope by default others will too. And so yeah, it's just my little recipe formula for creating whatever is going on in my life. And I try not to get boxed into doing the same thing over and over again, because for me, I just want it to be fun and a challenging puzzle to grow all the time. And you share it out. So that, that's my recipe.
I'd love to give Jen the opportunity to speak as well. Jen is a very influential and prominent figure in the visionary arts movement and curator for visionary art culture. Yeah. And one thing I wanted to ask you, Jen, is, the word visionary art is sometimes really like loosely defined. Many people have different ideas around what that really constitutes. And in the ways that you describe the processes in which you make art, there are themes that are recurrent in terms of defining what visionary art is. A lot of it has to do with the worldview or some sort of experience or kind of inspiration, or in the case of Savannah with your paintings, as the framing, a vision literally that you have that you wish to see in the world. So I wanted to ask you, Jen, if you, because you're probably the most intimately acquainted with visionary art, how it's grown and what it's developed into, how would you define visionary art? And if anybody else also would like to tackle that question, the floor is also open.
Okay. Let's start. To me, visionary art defines community. It defines beauty. It defines this heart center. There's so many things that come into visionary art. If you were to go to art school, and I've been in school for a really long time, and if I had to try to define it to them, they describe it as an outsider or field where someone's not properly trained, or there's an entire museum that's dedicated to visionary art. But for me, it's such a different impersonal experience. And I don't like to pigeonhole the bird itself, but it is a part of our entire being. Everything that I do for the last 25 years has been in the realm of visionary art. And that is within, the medicine circles, within the artists themselves, and then family, and then also the community. And I think that is the biggest thing that all of us have kind of grown from, is that no matter what, we always have our backs. And that it's just very hard to me. I know that's so simple and really, because we're trying to find this source, we're trying to share with people, we're trying to heal, we're trying to give people a vehicle or a space that they feel safe in. And whether it's a gallery or a museum or whatever, wherever there's visionary art, that I hope people feel accepted, and I feel that they feel included in whatever that we're trying to do. But that's such a huge, broad thing for me, because it always comes back to that. And Alex has the best answer, and I feel for me, I don't know if I would really answer that completely, because it's such it's people get, sometimes people are like, oh, I don't want to be a visionary artist, I want to be this. But you are here, and you are a visionary artist because you're putting your visions on this canvas. So it's deeper than that. So I don't want to. Yeah, Alex, would you say something about?
I would like to be next, and then I'm going to hand it to Alex, okay? Because I just want to say basically, the very basic is that visionary is that you have a vision. You have an inner image. And art is, and you can get that image in our world that's often associated with psychedelics, with substance, with alternative. City, like the dervish or something. Visionary art, it can have vision, but art is soothing. It's the intention of the artist and of the art, and it's evident. It has to be physical. It has to be out in the world. So it's evidence that an artist can to be art. So like in the case of lovely sunflower meadow, it's not necessarily art. It looks like art. It's not art, but in that to be a sunflower meadow. So all say the linear art can come to you through in all this facing, but it can also come to many people in other way. You know this from friends of ours who's never done psychedelics and have had visions and are a part of our church and talk about their visions. And it comes from dreams and death experiences and anesthesia, and different that because it's drugs. But still, so visionary and art. That's what visionary art is, and it comes in every form. As we know, Jen has been the credible curator and pioneer and ambassador to all sorts of visionary artists, including abstract visionary artists, performance visionary artists, though people who make all kinds of things, wall art and sculpture and all that. So anyway, Alice, you always have brilliant things to say about visionary art. So you're
Yeah, Allyson.
Thank you, Alice and Jen, and, for forwarding this movement. And I think that since psychedelics do have a lot to do with many of the visionary artists, or at least they're tangential to it, and the kind of visionary art world has grown up with the psychedelics world. I mean, the Dome and all the visionary artists, when they one of the times when they appeared early 2006 on the playa was with facts, and so they're off, and maps often will feature many visionary artists, even if we don't always get to talk, but at least it's been included as part of that culture evolved. So it's indelibly connected. Stan Groff did the same thing. Now, would you call it psychedelic art and just drop the visionary? There's perhaps arguments either way. One of the things is psychedelic still is associated mostly with the sacrament or with medicine, and so it seems like a subset of what I think of as visionary art. I don't think every work of visionary art was inspired by substances, as we all kind of agree on that. And so, nevertheless, every temple on earth would probably, in some way, have been inspired by the visionary state. It's a state of being that is being pointed to. It's the liminal zone, the territory between you and the sacred. It can bring you together. It can be a force to take you in multiple directions. It can acknowledge the hell, but it can also point its way to heaven. And so that's why I still like the term visionary art. I like psychedelic visionary art. That more or less defines, by I don't know what I'm doing in some art. And
But what about Paul?
so, yeah, Paul Lafley is a dear friend of ours from Boston, and he ran a place called the Boston Visionary Cell. And he identified with visionary art, never took a substance in his life, never had to, total genius, and some would say whack job, that was completely connected multidimensionally. And so some of us use substances to get there. I think that's okay, and I think that the allies, the spirit allies that are working with us, they know that. They know what we're working with, and they're willing, nevertheless. And so I think it's a blessing way. The visions point to somewhere. It's not just art for art's sake necessarily, as far as I'm concerned. It's art that's pointing somewhere as toward the higher possibility that each of us have, and toward the positivity of the creative force itself. And so that kind of alliance that you feel like kind of like, ooh, you get excited when you see a new thing coming, it's like, ooh, you feel the creation with them. This is why these kind of festival environments, I think, are sacred things. They're holy things. People may be tripping and watching you paint, or watching you do the dome show, and they're right in there creating with you. They have a sense of oneness and a sense of connection with the creative force that transcends their limited self. And I think that that's part of what visionary art is all about.
All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed that panel discussion. That was definitely a peak experience for me in my life. It was really amazing to be on stage amongst all my heroes, all of the people that I've looked up to for so many years who continue to blow my minds with their art and their creativity. And now I have a really special offer for you that I'm really excited to share. I've been working on this online course for months with a incredible team of collaborators. I've been working with Daniel from TEM Integration, who was at one point my coach, actually. So that's a fun little level up to be a collaborator with him. And my friend John from Maps of the Mind, two brilliant psychedelic course creators. And we've teamed up to create Inspiration Alchemy, which is a visionary 12-week course based on the Artist Way that's designed specifically for inspired creatives and aspiring artists like you to empower your creativity and to allow you to access that deep current, that deep well of creative force and energy that's bubbling up inside of you that wants so desperately to be released into the world, to impregnate the universe with this supercharged seed of potent, activative, creative energy. To make the world a more beautiful place, we need to have more artists in it. And that's what I want from this course. And that's why I felt inspired to team up and to create it. If you ever felt like your creative energy is stuck or that you've lost touch with the artistic spark that you knew once ignited your soul, I've definitely been there. If you're yearning to dive deeper into your imagination, into your creativity, your agency, your magic, your power, and to unlock a well of inspiration and to reclaim your identity as an artist, this course is exactly for you. This isn't just your standard online course. This is a truly transformative journey that will help you recover and empower your creative powers through simple yet profound daily practices, weekly meetings with incredible guest artists, and all within a supportive, psychedelic-friendly community. You'll engage with exercises and weekly discussions that will spark your imagination and immerse you in experiences of inspiration, of wonder, of awe. You're going to be interacting with and coming face-to-face with world-renowned artists, and you're going to be breaking through creative blocks, reigniting your passion for art and for your life. Basically, this is soul retrieval. This is about getting back in touch with who you truly are, why you came to incarnate into this world, into this earth, in the first place, and all the ways that we get fractured and taken away from our true selves and our souls. This course is designed to bring you back into alignment with that place of inspiration, enthusiasm, happiness, joy, and creativity. It's going to reignite your passion, and you're going to do it alongside a vibrant community of like-minded individuals who will encourage you, inspire you, and you might even make lifelong friends. I've done a few of these courses in the past, and people in the courses are still friends years and years later. Some of them, even like some of my students in these courses previously lived in different countries, and they moved to Italy to go live with each other, there have been relationships that have formed out of these things. You never know what's going to happen. And each week you're going to get to learn from world-renowned guest artists who are legends. Legends like Chris Dyer, Amanda Sage, Martin Whitfuth. He's one of my favorite artists personally. They all are, but Martin Whitfuth, he's one of my heroes. And they'll share their wisdom and they'll guide you deeper into your creative journey. You're going to get to have discussions with these incredible artists every single week to ask questions, to receive guidance, to receive feedback. And our team, who have all completed the Artist Way themselves, they're going to be there to support you every step of the way. And for Black Friday, we're offering this transformative experience for just $597, which is a $400 discount. So it's a $400 savings just for Black Friday, and it's only available until Cyber Monday, December 2nd. And after that, the price goes up. There's also a whole bunch of bonuses. There's bonus courses, bonus books, bonus workshops, bonus recordings, and that's all available just for Black Friday. So if you're ready to transform your creativity, don't miss this limited time opportunity to fully unlock and claim. This is about ownership. This is about permission, your creative potential, and your artistic identity. This is your chance to stick your stake in the ground, to put your foot down, to throw your fist to the heavens, and to declare to the gods, I am an artist. So if this is the permission slip that you've been looking for, head over to inspirationalchemy.com right now to sign up and to secure your spot. The link is also in the show notes, so you can easily find it there. And remember, your creativity matters. And if you're passionate about joining but need financial support, there are scholarships and discounted rates available. So get in touch with us if you have a compelling story. We'd love to help you out. This is more than just a course. This is a creative awakening. This is a global revolution. This is about seeding the world with more creativity, empowering more artists, and making the world a more beautiful place. And you're a part of that. You're a part of this mission. You're a part of this revolution. And so let's embark on this visionary journey together. Don't waste. Okay, there are limited spaces, so don't wait. And this offer ends on Cyber Monday. It's a special limited time offer. So go to inspirationalchemy.com right now and sign up today before it's too late. And I'm so excited to be here on this 12-week journey with all of you, to get to speak with all of these incredible artists that I get to learn from, and to meet you as well. I'm really excited to meet you. So please sign up. I can't wait to see you, and it's going to be a blast. So I'll see you soon, and thanks again for listening to an episode of the Creativity and Consciousness podcast.
Thank you for tuning in to the podcast. I am the DFT Elf. Escaping into your dimension. New episodes of the Creativity and Consciousness podcast drop each week. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. If you'd like to stay connected and join a like-minded community, hop in the Telegram group where we discuss the latest episodes and ideas they spark. Sending you instant love and gratitude for being part of this journey.